Today, we're doing something a little different, and honestly, very timely. And before we talk FPS, ray tracing or benchmarks, we need to talk about GPU market. Because right now, it's kind of crazy. Hey everyone, welcome back to PapaPC channel. When I bought these cards 2 weeks ago, the RX 9070 XT was $649. Today, it's around $719. The RTX 5070 Ti was $749. Now it's selling between $829 and $1,249. That's a big difference. Same ASUS Prime design language, same size, less than a centimeter difference. The RX 9070 XT is a tiny bit bigger. Similar cooler layout, but inside, completely different architectures, different philosophies, and very different priorities. Here is the unboxing of the cards. The 5070 Ti suffered a bit, fortunately, no damage to the card. It comes with an adapter 12VH power connector, two 2x6+2 pins PCIe and cable Velcro hook and loop. The 9070 XT was luckier. No accessories for that one though, just the ASUS booklet. Different GPU design of course, 3x6+2 pins connector for the AMD compared to the 12VH power connector, 1 cm difference roughly as you can see, so twins they are, at least from the outside. What this video is, this isn't another benchmark shootout. You can find those everywhere. This is a maturity check. How these two cards feel today. After drivers, updates and real-world use. I tested both in my regular rig. Same system, same settings, no paid tools, just real games. Nova Bench and 3D Mark TimeSpy. So my system as usual, Ryzen 7 9700X, MSI Mag B, 850M motor Wi-Fi, 32GB of DDR5 CL30 at 6000 MT Expo enabled, and Windows 11 Pro. Both cards were on performance BIOS. Both were set to optimized at 1440p. No big tweaking, exactly how most people actually play. Let's start with synthetic tests. Not because they're everything, but because they give us a baseline. In Nova Bench, yes, so the RTX 5070 Ti slightly pulls ahead overall, especially in graphics and compute. Well, that's not surprising given NVIDIA's platform focus. But honestly, the RX 9070 XT is very, very close. And I don't think it would be even noticeable in the real world. In TimeSpy, the RX 9070 XT is actually scoring higher, so 28,936 points, and the RTX 5070 Ti is performing well too, but closes the test with 27,944 points. But this doesn't tell us the full story. These numbers matter, but real games tell us what actually feels better. Alright, real games. Optimized 1440p, 120 FPS settings, no tweaking. So, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, both cards deliver a smooth experience. The RX 9070 XT holds strong in raw raster performance. The RTX 5070 Ti feels slightly smoother in complex scenes. This is also where upscaling behavior matters. And this is where time has helped AMD a lot. FSR's latest update is noticeably better than it was at launch. Fewer artifacts, better motion stability, and in a game like this, that really shows. On the RTX side, when I enable DLSS at a moderate setting, so times 3 for the frame generation, I don't want to lose too much performance, it's another level of smoothness for the 5070 Ti. Next, Hogwarts Legacy. This is a great stress test. Heavy lighting, dense environments, lots of motion. Here again, the RX 9070 XT keeps up very well in pure raster performance. The 5070 Ti pulls ahead when things get more complex. Shadows, lighting, dense scenes, but the gap is much smaller today than it would have been months ago. And that's a maturity story right there. Let's talk about everyday comfort, heat and noise. When starting up the computer, the RX 9070 XT is at 31-32 degrees Celsius, while the RTX 5070 Ti starts at 30 degrees Celsius. The former also tends to run a tiny bit warmer. We are talking again about 1-2 degrees difference under a sustained load and if you game for long sessions. Both fans ramp up at 50-51 degrees Celsius. The RTX 5070 Ti stays very slightly cooler, same quietness, nothing aggressive overall, barely noticeable. This is where these cards really diverge. On the NVIDIA side, the platform feels very mature, strong ray tracing, reliable AI upscaling, and a solid ecosystem for creators and streamers. On the AMD side, the story is a bit different. Not weaker, but later. FSR's recent update is a big deal. It finally feels like a true competitor, not just a fallback option. The RTX 5070 Ti feels like a card that arrived mature and stayed mature over time. The RX 9070 XT feels like a card that grew into its potential and practically closed the gap. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get wild. When I bought these, RX 9070 XT $649, RTX 5070 Ti $749. Today, mid-January 2026, the RX 9070 XT is around $719. The RTX 5070 Ti between $829 and $1,249. That completely changes the conversation. At $649 versus $749, the choice was about features. At $719 versus over $829 and up to $1,250, now it's about value and sanity. The difference may seem small, but the other issue is that stock of the 5070 Ti graphics card has been really drying up very quickly over the past few days. So, who wins? If you care deeply about ray tracing, having a lot of games already optimized, creator tools, and NVIDIA's ecosystem, and you're willing to pay a big premium, the RTX 5070 Ti is still the most complete tech card right now in this mid-high range. But if you're a gamer first, playing at 1440p, and you want the most performance for your money, especially with how much AMD has improved FSR, the 9070 XT is still the smarter buy today. Honestly, this is the first AMD card in a long time that truly goes head-to-head with an NVIDIA card in real-world use. These cards may look like twins, But right now, price is what separates them the most. Let me know in the comments, AMD or NVIDIA for this ASUS Prime Edition. If this helped, hit like and subscribe if you want more real-world GPU tests without the hype. It was Papa PC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.